Hi Lunis, welcome to the Luna podcast. Bienvenue sur le balado diffusion de Luna. Et oui, c'est le mot français pour podcast. I'm Léa, a yoga teacher and administrator at Luna Yoga, as well as a PhD student in mental health research at McGill. Like the vast majority of you, I miss Luna. I miss the conversations that happened before and after classes, the great community feel that you get as soon as you step through these doors in the old port of Montreal. So I thought, why not keep the conversations going? So today, I'm bringing you a discussion that I had with Jennifer Maagendans, the owner and creator of Luna, a place that many of us have called a second home. I actually haven't had that many conversations with Jenn since I mostly work weekends at Luna, so I am so excited to be able to ask her some questions today and to get to know her better. Here's my conversation with Jenn.
My first question is actually a bit of an embarrassing one. I never heard you pronounce your last name, and I never figured out how you say it or where it comes from, really.
So it's a Dutch name. Both my parents are from the Netherlands, and I can't even pronounce it properly. If I was going to pronounce it in Holland, the way they pronounce it is Maagendans, something like that. But here, most people say Maagendans. A lot of the francophones will say like Maagendans or something else. So I'm just like, whatever. Usually people just say like, you know, if I'm in a class or whatever, and they're like, Jennifer Ma, I'm just like, here. But Maagendans is probably the easiest.
Cool. So yeah, and I guess another big question, which is applicable to most of us now, I would say maybe 90% of us, is how do you feel your life has changed since the pandemic? Since we're not working at Luna anymore, what do you miss? It must be very different because there's not much of a studio as in the place life anymore, although there's a studio life that's happening over the internet. But how do you feel about this big change, or what do you miss?
Well, lots of changes, as you know, because you've been helping us out with everything. But I feel like, number one, I'm so proud of how we all came together and got us online, like right away. Like people are constantly saying to me, oh my gosh, like, how did you guys get online so quick? And like, you didn't miss a beat. And it's true. We like on Friday was when they started the quarantine, March 12th, I think it was. And by the Monday we were live streaming. And so we never missed any of our classes. And that's, because of you, Léa, and Francis and Shannon, and, everybody came together and worked their butts off that weekend. And, just everybody has this willingness to help out and try something new, even though none of us, knew much about live streaming at all. So it's just like a learning process. And then, a learning process too of balancing like home life and work, because I've got two kids at home, and one of them's in school or should be in school, and the other one should be in daycare, but they're both home. So we found this really nice routine of doing schoolwork in the morning, and so I'll spend an hour or two with them. Originally I was doing 2 hours with them, but now their teacher actually does Zoom meetings with them, so that's great. That gives me like 45 minutes where I can get some stuff done. And then I'll make sure to go outside and we go to the park. Now we go to the skate park. We've been doing that in the mornings too, because it's so hot this week that we go out first and then we come home later. And then it's also a balance of letting them have a little more screen time than I normally would. But like right now, while we're sitting here doing this, I'm letting them go over right across from me on the other side of the room, playing video games, quietly whispering to each other. And then, Jason's got his recording studio downstairs too in our house. So he sometimes needs really quiet time. So the balance of like, he just took out the kids while I taught the noon class, and then I'll take them out when he needs to record some quiet piano or guitar or something. and then, you know, trying to find the balance too of at the beginning, that first weekend and that first week, I think I was on every Zoom meeting, every class. I think there was a couple of us like monitoring it, trying to help each other out, texting constantly. Oh my gosh, the audio's not working, the video, da, da, da. And now I, you know, you guys have all been doing the admin for the meeting, so it's great. I'm just, you know, there for support and stuff. But then during the day, I'm doing webinars and educating myself on live streaming, and also now what's going to happen when we reopen. Or what's that going to look like? How many people can we have in class? So dealing with the regulations and government subsidies and all that stuff. So surprisingly a lot of work, but I mean, thank God I have you guys. Frances is an angel. She does so much work. And so, yeah, it's definitely a balance. What I miss from the studio is, like we were talking about before, is the community. It's just like, you know, we have so much fun. The staff, the students, like, you know, we're always chatting before class and chatting after class. And I miss our, admin lattes. Always Frances or Shannon I'll get a text in the morning, lattes, ? You know? and so it's like missing those little things, you know?
Yeah.
But it's been really cool too, to be like, you know, at first we were like, what are we going to do? We're going to have to put everybody's passes on hold, and we're going to have like no revenue coming in. And we messaged everybody saying, we're putting your passes on hold. And we had so many people who messaged us back who were like, you know, as you know, they were like, I want to support the studio. I want you guys to be open when this is all over. So keep my pass going. And, so we were like, okay, everybody wants to keep their passes going, or, you know, let's try to give them as much content as we can. So now we're just working on building more content and trying to, you know, give back.
One of the questions that I had for you was kind of like, and as I said, this is kind of a question that I actually don't like when people ask me, but
yeah.
if you could kind of in the last 17 years, think of maybe like a top 3, either key moments or funny or memorable, because I guess this one probably will become a very memorable moment in the history of Luna, but are there any other things or moments that you'd like to share with us?
There's quite a few. There's a lot of funny moments, and we always say to each other, like on staff, like, you know, somebody needs to write like a yoga sitcom, because, you know, yoga attracts so many different types of people, and there's definitely some very special people that it attracts, and there's always funny stuff happening. When we first opened, we used to do free classes on the full moon to sort of like tie it together with like Luna and the moon. And so, I thought it was like a cool marketing thing. And back then, you know, you would put anything that was free, you could put in the newspaper too, like the Mirror and the Voir and those newspapers. So we got in all kinds of crazies coming in for the full moon classes, and every full moon, it just sort of progressively got a little weirder. And we had this one lady who used to come in only for the full moon, and she would, you know, call us all the time before, when is the next full moon, all this stuff. And during class, she was constantly like talking, like we'd say something in Sanskrit, and she'd say, are you speaking Chinese, or what is that? What language? And we were like, oh my gosh. And she like at one point took off her top. She was just like in a regular bra. Yeah. Anyway, it escalated to the point where I was like, I don't think this is a good idea for the business. So we stopped doing the free full moon classes. It maybe wasn't the best idea, because it was great for people who wanted a free class, but for the members, they stopped coming during the full moon because they were like, this is too crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was a learning thing that we did. Learning curve. Another memorable moment when I wasn't there, but Stéphanie Fournier taught her very first class, her morning class. And one of the students who came in was Susan Sarandon.
Oh my goodness. Her first class?
Her very first class. So she was already super nervous. And Susan Sarandon walked in, and she was just like, oh my God. But she did it. She taught the class. She did it. She did a great job. And at the end, she went and spoke to Susan Sarandon and was like, you know, this is my first class. I'm really honored you're here. And it was really sweet.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I would be so stressed. I mean,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you know, she's just another human,
absolutely.
and you wouldn't want to treat her any differently, but it's just, you know, that element of surprise too is, you know, she probably would have never thought that Susan Sarandon would just like walk in and take her first yoga class.
Yeah. No, it was memorable for her. And then it was a funny Luna story for all of us.
Yeah.
And I'd say every anniversary is a memorable moment too, because it's just, you get so much love coming at you, you know, and you're just I created a space just to sort of, because I liked yoga and I was like, this helps me and it grounds me. So I want to share it with other people. And I don't really know what I'm doing, but I was really young and I think I was 27 and I was like, I'm just going to, you know, do this. And it's grown into this amazing community. It's not what I think ever expected. And
Wow.
yeah, I feel like every anniversary, everybody comes together and it's really nice. It takes the opportunity for people to just, you know, share their love and it's really sweet.
Cool. That actually flows kind of really nicely into something else I was always wondering about is
Yeah.
how your vision of Luna changed, you know, how it was in the early years or, you know, why did you feel you were, you know, like you wanted to build that studio and, you know, has that changed through the years and has that vision changed a bit as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I started the studio, I had just finished my degree in environmental studies at Concordia.
Right.
And I was applying for all these jobs in like, I don't know, kind of more like environmental organizations. And I wasn't really getting any responses because you kind of need to do something else, like more of a specialization. You can't, at that point, it was just like environmental studies, you know?
Okay.
And then it hadn't really developed enough at that point, but you know, I should have gone on to do something else, like a technical something. But I had also been helping my yoga teacher manage his studio. So I was learning about managing a studio and I was teaching and I had, you know, all these students and eventually that fell apart. And, you know, people kept saying, why don't you open your own studio? Why don't you open your own studio? And I was like, that seems crazy. How am I going to do that? And I didn't really know what I was doing at all, like I said, and I didn't really know what else to do. And people seemed to like my classes and I liked teaching a lot. So I just sort of went along with the motions of opening your own business and wrote a business plan and got in touch with Yes Montreal Youth Employment Services, I think it was. And there was another one, Fondation du Maire de Montréal, and applied for some grants. I ended up getting $2,000, a whole $2,000. And my parents, I think, gave me like $2,000, and my grandmother, I think, gave me $2,000, and I had saved like $1,000, something like that. So I had $7,000, and I was able to open the studio with that, which is pretty crazy because now they say you need like $100,000 to open a studio.
Yeah.
And again, my vision was just that it wasn't super clear to me. It was just, I like yoga. It grounds me. I think it could help other people.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to keep doing this. I didn't have a completely clear vision, but I do know that I was not super I wasn't super social, or I wouldn't say I wasn't social. I was always been a social person, but I wasn't really into people. I was sort of more into the earth and animals. I was like, I want to save the earth and save the animals was my feeling. I don't really care about people was the vibe I had. So it's funny that it's changed a lot in the years, and the community has become one of the biggest things at Luna. And like we were talking before, like talking to people and connecting with people before class and after class and even during class, like that's become really important. And so I think that in that way, the vision has changed. And it recognized too that, you know, if I do want to help save the earth or the animals or whatnot, it's us and our views that need to change, right? And our connection to the earth and our connection to animals, which yoga, that's what it's all about, right?
I'm wondering about your yoga practice. Is that something that you found has evolved as well a lot since you opened the studio 17 years ago? Is your practice different now?
For sure. Yeah. You know, at first I was more into Ashtanga and, well, it was like a traditional kind of hatha practice. And then I discovered Jivamukti and fell in love with Jivamukti, loved Jivamukti. And I did the Jivamukti training. And probably at that point, my asana practice was like the strongest it could be because, you know, I'd just come out of the training and I was practicing all the time. And then I had 2 kids, and like we were talking before, pregnancy changes the way you practice, and it forces you to let go of certain things. And it's like, it takes humility too, because it's like, you know, for the rest of my life, yoga was pretty easy for me. I did gymnastics when I was younger, and I was used to handstands and headstands and turning myself upside down. So it was a lot easier. And then when I got pregnant, I was like, can't do this. What's going on? And this is harder, and I'm losing my breath and stuff. And this isn't cool, you know? And I felt almost like, especially when you're a teacher and you're practicing at your own studio, you feel like, gosh, are other people looking? They can see that I can't do forearm stand, you know, and then I got through that. And I got past it, and I was like, you know, that's just what my body is right now. And pregnancy and childbirth and all that changed my practice, but then I grew in other ways, right? And became stronger in other ways. And it didn't change me that much, you know, like we were saying before too, is that sometimes people say like, oh, when you're pregnant, you can't do this, you can't do that, I was able to do everything right up until a couple of weeks before birth. I mean, maybe I wasn't doing forearm stand and handstands, but pretty much everything else was fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it's ever changing. And at the beginning of this quarantine, we went through a stage where we were doing like a lot of cardio workout. We've been doing this PE with Joe. It's this like online workout with the family, you know?
Yeah.
And it's can be challenging to get like an hour and a half of quiet time to do yoga in the house when it's like, our house is really open concept. So it can be challenging to do that, but to do cardio workout with the kids and music and stuff. And after, I don't know how many weeks of that and not enough yoga and too much cardio, my knees started hurting.
Oh.
Yeah. And Jason's back started hurting. And I was like, I need to start doing some yoga again. Yeah. So now I've switched and come back to yoga, but then trying some other stuff online too. Like I tried out a bar class last week and I did a hip hop class. So that's kind of fun to see what people are doing in other parts of the world, doing yoga classes, you know, from people in Germany or New York. And so it's kind of cool. We've had quite a few students too from Luna who were like, they used to practice at Luna and they've moved away and they're like, I'm so happy your classes are online. And it's really fun to see them, you know, and there's people in like Switzerland and then in like Kingston, Ontario, or like my friend Kimberly was from DC and practicing today. So it's fun.
Yeah, it's super cool. That's actually, I got that question several times from a few Luna people. They were wondering whether once this is all over, if online classes are still going to continue.
Yeah. So I think our plan is to continue with the live stream. We just haven't completely figured out how we're going to do it. We did already just got a new camera, a webcam, and we're going to try setting that up today.
I wanted to end on more of a kind of like personal light note. If there was anything you could, you know, tell us about you that we probably don't know, some likes or dislikes. It could be anything really.
Some likes or dislikes. Well, I do, and we talked about before, I like lattes, but it's not coffee that I like. It used to be chai lattes that I was obsessed with. And I realized that it was way too much sugar for me. So now I've switched over to the matcha lattes, but I keep adding sugar to my matcha lattes. But that's a like. I can't think of what I dislike. I don't know. Good. Oh, you know what I'm not super into, which people are often surprised about, is all the fake meats, like the faux chicken and faux pork and stuff like that.
Beyond Meat?
Beyond Meat, yeah. I actually had a Beyond Meat burger from A&W last weekend, and I was like, this is okay because of all the condiments, but the faux meats, I wish I did like them more because it's coming out more and more now that vegan diet is becoming so much more popular. So I'm trying to open up to them, but I still, if it tastes too much like meat, I'm like, eh. But it's good. It's a good thing. It's good that it's out there.
Maybe we can end on, because I know that, you know, this has been, you know, a time of huge change for the studio, and I was wondering whether you wanted to say something to what I like to call them Lunis, people who come to Luna, or if there's something that Lunis can do during these difficult times for the studio. Anything you can think of?
Just keep coming to the classes. That's the best way to support us, and it works both ways, right? We get the support, and then you guys all get the classes. So yeah, if they just keep coming to the classes and you know, stay in contact with us, I guess that's nice too. Like, we sent out a survey yesterday or the day before, and we had like 60 or 70 people respond, which is so nice because you know, when you're working online, as everybody knows right now, you can often feel like you're on your own, or am I reaching anyone or anything? So it's just to stay connected.
Yeah, for sure. And I know Luna loves feedback too. So if any of you are listening and want to give us feedback on anything, then love that.
Yeah, we're working on some new classes and some new things, hopefully starting next week.
Cool. Exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jen. This was amazing. I probably have another 100 questions for you, but we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah, we can do it another time. Totally. It was fun.
Sounds great. All right.
Okay. So take care, Léa.
Our sessions. You too, Jen.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed my talk with Jen. I'll be talking to other Lunis, teachers, staff, and other yogis in the coming weeks. If you'd like to hear from someone in particular, along with your own questions that you would like me to ask that person, send me an email at Luna. Until then, take care, prenez soin de vous, et à la prochaine.